Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was tragically gunned down yesterday during a campaigning event, and he died some hours later. Before the identity of the gunman, a Japanese, was known, many Western pundits were suggesting the Chinese could be to blame. After that, they shifted their tactic to Chinese netizens, apparently happy that Abe is dead. So, is it true? Are Chinese celebrating the death? Let's get reporting. Hello, 大家好，欢迎回到外媒看中国，我是安博然。Hey you guys, welcome back to Reports on China. I'm Andy. After the tragic death of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe yesterday, online pundits began accusing the Chinese of celebrating his death. So, are some Chinese truly unsympathetic? The short answer is yes, but the reality is, of course, a lot more nuanced. Firstly, I need to dispel a huge myth that many people hold about Chinese people in general, and that is that they are a monolith, that they all share the exact same opinions and beliefs. That is far from the truth. Chinese people are just like any people in any nation. Society here features a vast kaleidoscope of differing views. Sure, some people are happy he's dead, others feel bad for him and his family, yet others are shocked that such an assassination could take place in Japan, where gun violence is extremely rare. Others worry about worsening relations, and yet care more about the annual civil service examination, which is currently underway and trending online in China. So, why would some people have no sympathy following the tragic death of Shinzo Abe? Well, it all dates back to Abe's grandfather, a man named Nobusuke Kishi, who was also Prime Minister of Japan and a notorious war criminal charged with the torture and murder of countless Chinese victims. Basically, Abe's grandfather was heavily involved in Japan's invasion of China before World War II, especially in the takeover of the country's northeast region, where Japan needed to harvest raw materials for their war effort. Japan's invasion led to the slavery, rape, and death of countless Chinese, for which Abe's grandfather only served 3 years in prison. Even after his crimes were widely known, Kishi was elected as the country's prime minister and refused to apologize for the country's war crimes against China, among the worst of which was the Nanjing massacre in 1937, where thousands and thousands of women were raped by the Japanese and then mutilated. Up to 3 million innocent Chinese were murdered by the Japanese in Nanjing during the 6-week occupation. Many Chinese see Abe as having continued his grandfather's legacy, especially in his unceasing anti-China stance. As just one example, Abe continuously visited the Yasukuni Shrine, which many Chinese view as a symbol and celebration of Japanese war criminals, including his own grandfather. During Japan's occupation of northeast China, where Shinzo Abe's grandfather was heavily involved, hundreds and thousands of Chinese were abused, tortured, and murdered in a macabre testing center called Unit 731. Among the victims were babies, children, and pregnant women who were injected with diseases, had weapons tested on them, had limbs cut off, and endured controlled dehydration. Despite this hideous history, Abe angered Chinese when he refused to condemn his grandfather's atrocities, and he even willingly posed in a plane with the number 731, fully aware of the pain that would cause to Chinese. Are you starting to see now why some Chinese are less than sympathetic about the fate of Shinzo Abe? Also, do you guys remember when the British celebrated the death of former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher in 2013? The song Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, some 74 years old at the time, climbed the charts there in celebration of her passing. Did anyone condemn the British for not mourning her death? No. So why should every Chinese be expected to forget history and mourn the death of Shinzo Abe? And what about Madeleine Albright, former US Secretary of State, who overlooked the invasion of Iraq? Her death earlier this year also led to celebration by many Americans who were disgusted by her attitude towards the death of countless Iraqi civilians. So sure, not every Chinese is upset that Shinzo Abe was tragically assassinated yesterday. And if some of them are celebrating, I think they have every right to do so. I personally don't think Abe deserved to be gunned down on the street, but then again, my family didn't suffer at the hands of his family's regime. See you guys next time.